Right, good evening folks. So what we've got here is David. He's a heating engineer. We're going to cover small business talk on the struggles he has even as a tradesman. You know, everyone believes that tradesmen make a fortune. You know, it's always believed that.
Which isn't true.
Well, the thing is, look, there's good money to be made, but it's overheads. Like this is what we're covering here on the Small Business Talk podcast. So obviously I'm going to ask David a few questions on his trade. It's new to me as well, so it'll be interesting for to hear his spin on things. So how long have you now been in the trade?
Oh, since I was 16. So
16 years old. So
qualified at 21.
Yeah.
And then just ever since then.
So a long time. So obviously
long
we're 38 years old now, went to school together. He's been doing it a long time, he has. But again, you know, if we're looking at the tradesman side of things, obviously you don't have a property in terms of business property, so that's a cost that you don't pay, which is good, obviously good. But again, other things like your van, your tools, you know, obviously when you work away a lot, don't you? So there's digs to pay, there's this and that to pay.
Fortunes, mate. Yeah. Fortunes.
So typically, obviously, I want to go through. Let's pick three expenses that you think the normal person wouldn't expect you to be paying for. Let's go for how much you spend on tools a year to do your job.
Well, the forever breaking, the forever need maintaining, they need serviced. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's newer tools coming out. There's newer things coming out, newer methods. So you're buying a tool to progress that method.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just goes from there. So I mean,
if you were to say, look, let's say how much tools wise on your van, how much you think it would cost to kit your van off? What you need to do?
6,000 to 7,000.
So that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that's obviously looking at maintaining and updating.
Yes, absolutely.
Pretty much every year.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. So in terms of, because I know you drive everywhere, so how much a week do you put in fuel in that van?
Oh, it's at least £200 to £300 a week.
That's nuts.
I mean, it obviously depends on your mileage and how far you're going and this and that. And we are all over the country, but it's the cost of fuel is absolutely crazy. Mm-hmm. If you're going up and down the country, I mean, as people will know, right, you stop at service stations and they rip your eyeballs out in there.
Yep.
They really do.
Yeah. Especially on the motorway.
Oh, it's huge. But, you know, it's the little trips in between the jobs, going back to the merchants, doing this, doing that, running about.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? That's
you don't get paid for.
No, that's what you don't get paid for. And that's another hidden cost what people don't see.
So like pricing up.
Yes. Well, you get a call out. Say you get a call out and you go to the job and say your call out fee's 120 quid an hour. Yeah. You go there, you diagnose the issue, then you've got to go and get the part, then you've got to go to the merchants, order the part, go and get the part, bring it back. Yeah. People don't want to pay for that time. People don't see that time.
I think we should brush on that a little bit further, because I see loads of posts right in the residence pages, and they'll say, and what I find, what I hate, I'll tell you what I hate. I hate to say this, right? Anyone know a plumber that isn't too expensive? And I just think to myself there, because obviously I don't know what whatever problems they've got in general. Say the boilers went off, right?
Yeah.
That's not to it. What's expensive? This is what in these podcasts that I want to brush on. It's like who's the one that decide what expensive is, right? So for one, right, say there's no heating on the house, right? It's a pretty big deal in the middle of winter. Your call, like what you just said, right? They think you turn up, fix the problem, and you go home, right? But you're only there now, right, mate? It's not, you know, like what you just said. You diagnose the problem, you then go and pick the part up. You then obviously go back, fix the job.
Oh, absolutely. But I've had customers in the past, so they'll ring us up and they'll say, "Oh, my boiler's gone off," you know. Then I'll say, "Yeah, no worries. How about this time? Yeah, that's great." So I'll go around and I'll diagnose the issue and I'll say, "Oh, it's your plate heat exchanger's gone," or something along them lines. And then they'll say, "All right, I tell you what. Well, we're gonna get a new boiler." Right, brilliant. No worries at all. So can you give us a price for a new boiler? Yeah, no problem at all. I'll give you a price for a new boiler. Yeah, but you still have to pay the call out fee, right? Yeah. And because obviously I'm giving them a quotation. What I always say to customers now though is, listen, if you pay the call out time, yeah, if you go with me to fit your new boiler, yeah, I'll knock you such and such off that price, yeah, which is like a little bit of a sweetener, so that obviously
You're still doing them a favour.
I'm still doing them
Yeah.
a favour, but you know that they haven't been hit for the full call out fee, because obviously I'm getting repeat custom from them.
Yes. Yes.
But some customers don't want to do that. You know, they want that diagnosed for now, but that they've got to understand.
So this is another thing. See,
It's a service.
Yeah.
Do you know what
I'm
I
saying?
mean?
It's like, even to turn up and find out the problem,
Yeah.
that's still experience.
Yeah.
It's still someone's job to do
Yeah.
that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, at the end of the day, mate, and that's again, it's perfect, because now whoever's watching who sees that will understand. Well, actually, they're right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty much, do you know what it's like? It's like someone getting up for work in the morning, going to work, and then when they get there, the boss saying, "Oh, I don't need you this morning,"
Yeah.
and going home without being paid. You'd be devastated.
Oh,
do you know what I
would,
mean?
aye.
That's probably the best way to look at it.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? But right, so I've covered a bit of that. Again, so you're staying away a lot of the time, you know, you're working down south loads. I think you were in Wales last week.
Yeah.
And it's like your digs, you know, you're paying for a week's worth of digs. Then you've got your fuel to get there.
Yeah.
Then you've got the runabout in between to pick the parts or whatever.
But they vary from week to week.
Yes, you
So
can't-
the hotels are mad at the minute, absolutely crazy. So you'll go 1 week and you might get a hotel room for 55 to 60 quid, yeah. But then all of a sudden there might be something on, which is like I don't know, some semi-final or something like that.
Yeah.
And
In
then
that
that's
area.
it. In
Yes.
that area, then that's
Yes.
it. Boom, right up. And obviously you can never predict that. So it's between, it's, you know what I mean. It's you're talking between 60's your lower end.
Yeah.
If you're getting a hotel
Per
room
night.
for 60 quid, you know, Travelodge or Premier or something. If you're getting that for 60 quid, you're doing well.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the higher end is.
But again, 60 quid
You know.
when from an outsider. I'm thinking, right, so I need 60 quid for me night. I need the fuel. I mean, Bristol, you got to be looking at, what, 5-6 hours drive?
Yeah.
6 hours driving, you got to be looking at 100 quid in fuel.
Oh,
aren't you?
easy, aye.
So you got 100 quid, there's 60 for your digs.
Yeah.
That's before you get out of the van. Do you know what I mean? And this is where, you know, you think, and then if for me, looking at you and I'm going, right, if you said to me, I'm on £1,000 a week, if I take off £160
Yeah.
for 5 nights, or 4 nights, yeah, that's a good chunk of your week.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
It goes with like employing people as well, and being able to factor them into jobs and stuff.
I think we should talk about employment, because that's a good one. I think
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't realise that employing someone, right? Don't get us wrong, if needed and you've got the work for them,
Oh yes.
they can be a hand. But mate,
Absolutely.
I think, you know, no one understands
Nah,
that.
it's when the work doesn't warrant it,
Yes.
and then you kind of not stuck, but you've kind of got them double expenses. That's
Well, that's
the
it.
thing.
That's
do you
it,
know what I
isn't it?
mean?
Because when you take someone on, because obviously I've employed people for a long time, but it's been more like apprenticeship roles.
Yeah.
So obviously the bottom end of the pay grade,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
what
yeah.
they need to be on to
Yeah.
learn. But mate, like I know now that employing people, you've got, you know, you're paying corporation tax, you're paying their PAYE. Like you pay a lot of money out for just to have them,
Yeah.
and then you obviously got the wages to pay as well. You know, which people don't understand. They think
aye.
that you employ them. So I've got a good friend, and he's never been self-employed, right? But he works for a big company, and you know, there's always debates between me and him, because I see it from the employer's side, but I see his side as well, right? But he doesn't really see it from the employer's side, you know. And typically the boss, greedy, doesn't pay us enough, you know, always giving us shit jobs, all that typical stuff, where it's not the case a lot of the time, mate. You know what I mean? It's like,
that's it, isn't
you know,
it?
you know, and it's like, you know, he complains, mate, a lot of the time about, you know, I'm doing this job, that job. Mate, for me, right, you're going to work, right? It doesn't matter what you're going to be doing, right? I always say to mine, the title, right, work, is just when you go in that building or whatever you are,
To work. Yeah.
right? So think, what's that? It's work, so
Exactly.
you're going to be working.
Yeah.
So don't complain that you're going to be doing whatever you're going to be doing. It's going to be work regardless, right?
Yeah,
So you're
yeah,
going to be
yeah,
tired,
yeah.
you're going to be whatever, you know, you're getting paid. So I find it now though, mate, and you'll probably agree, employing people now is hard work. And I'm honest with you, right? I'll be honest, it's what this podcast's about. I had a food business, as you know about, and employing a chef, right? Employing a chef who isn't mental health, ex-drug, ex-alcohol, just is like finding a needle
Yeah.
in a haystack.
Yeah.
I've learnt that, mate, over 3 years.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
mate, I tell you what, I've had about 2, and I'll say 2, probably one that's decent. That was, I could see, same level, same page,
Yeah.
Just get to work and do your bit, mate. The rest, mate, honestly, nuts.
It's all that what comes with it, though, isn't it? It's like
just nuts.
I've had people work for me in the past, and they obviously weren't right. Do you know what I mean? They obviously had their own issues and stuff, but it was bringing it to work, and it was just too much. So I scaled right back. Do you know what I mean?
So you're all man bad now?
Oh yeah.
See, that's bad though, isn't it? Because then, do you not find though, like, well, especially in your trade, not so much mine, but with you, right? Right, say someone rings you next week, right? They've got double the work. You can't take that work on.
No.
But then you're looking at employing someone, and then the problem is, who do you employ? So mate, you can't take the work on. So it's like, it's mad because.
I mean, didn't get us wrong. There's loads of good lads out there, but they'll all have jobs. Do you know what I mean? That's the toughest bit.
But mate, see, this is what I had a conversation about with another person on another podcast, right? Being self-employed, right? This is what I'm going to ask you now, right? Being self-employed, right? What's right? So over the years up to now, right? If you look at what been self-employed, all the work you haven't getting in because of times that it's been quiet over Christmas, compared to being employed. If you had to look at how much money you would have probably made working for someone as a heating engineer on decent money, because it's decent pay.
It is.
Working for someone else, I am on about.
Yeah.
Right, mate. Compared to the money that you've made yourself, would you probably say at the end of it all, all the years, you've probably levelled out?
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I mean.
Without a doubt.
And look at the extra stress you've had though.
It doesn't. That's the thing. It would have levelled out probably. I mean, people say you can work your own hours, you can do this, be your own boss, and it's great. But it's not all great. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
Don't get us wrong. There's obviously times where it suits me.
Yeah.
But it's what you do. Small business struggles is small business struggles, and everybody that's in the same boat knows exactly what you're on about when you say that, and it is all the stuff that comes.
Why isn't it sport more? Because everyone we're all settling, right? And I'm one of them. And this is the reason these podcasts are going ahead, because like all small businesses from the outside, right, is just like an employee looking at an employer. We're all minted. We all make loads. We're in our stress-free lives because they might see you going on holiday twice a year. You know, we drive nice vans, nice cars. This is how we are perceived, and like it's like, it's just nuts because I find that it's looked like that, yet the stress I go through, right, like on a regular basis, and it's like I just think, every week it's like, how much longer can I do this for?
Oh, mate,
how much longer?
Days you'll be tearing your hair out. Do you know what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying.
And it's fact.
So like, but again, because we used to work for ourselves, which doesn't mean you work less, you work a lot more. But I think it's more because it's your name on the line. And I think it can be addictive at a point where, like, not being self-employed through pride, like, oh, I'm my own boss, I've got a company, I've got a gym or whatever. It's not to do with that. Because to be honest with you, mate, if I could make more money doing it for someone else, I would. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I would. I'd let someone else be worrying about the bills.
Of course you
would.
would.
Let someone else worry about the insurances and the bills.
Oh, mate, it's a fact. It is.
So, like, obviously, we've covered loads of things on cost. If you were to summarise, if you were going to give someone advice who's just come out of apprenticeship, right, and they're thinking about setting up themselves, what would you tell them to do to save them a lot of time, money, stress, that type of thing? What would you say to them?
Network and a hell of a lot of marketing and get your name out there. Ultimately, get as much experience as possible. Whereas, I wouldn't suggest any apprentice come out his time and go straight into being self-employed at all, because he's going to come across a lot of things which I did, which is like which are stumbling blocks, hurdles, and
you're not ready at that age, are you?
Nah,
you know what I mean? When you think, I think now maturity though helps you deal with things a lot better, doesn't it?
You need a lot of time. A lot of time.
I guess that's where the saying goes, time served, isn't it?
Well,
you've served your time and you've dealt with all the...
I mean, you can do apprenticeships now. I mean, they can be in and out of college in 2 years.
Yeah.
It's not enough time. That means you've got a 16-year-old lad and they're going in and they're in and out of college, and then the fast tracking, which is the worst thing they can possibly do, and they're fully qualified by 18, 19-year-old. But then that's when they think, oh, great, I'm going to go self-employed, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But then obviously they have no idea in the big bad world what they're going into and how to deal with customers.
So your advice would be work for a company.
Absolutely.
Get some experience.
Get like 10 years behind you.
Yes. Well, but the thing is, mate, you're right, because at 30, I think that's when I think you probably. I mean, we set a business up when we were 20, 21 or something. I don't know. So, and we learned a lot. I mean, we were working for pennies, but we did learn a lot from them days, didn't we?
We did, mate. And do you know, when you look back at that, right? It wasn't really our fault, was it?
No,
we didn't. We give it a good go, but it was like we just didn't have the experience.
We used to do. We set a business up. It was called. Development, what was it called again?
R&R Development.
R&R Development, so it was and Routledge Developments, and we used to do, obviously David was a bathroom fitter, plumber, I was a plasterer, so we did loads of work, we fed him, we did loads of bathrooms, tiling jobs, he was a good tiler, plastering jobs, and you know, back then it was a good laugh, we got a few memories out of it, and but it wasn't easy, was it? No. It wasn't easy even back then.
It was a pricing thing as well. We didn't know how to price. We didn't know how to price jobs.
Yeah.
We were like plastering full houses out for like 1,500 quid and that. And it was like we were there like weeks.
So busy. So busy. Yeah. I know. But the thing is, we'll look back and laugh. But again, it's like moving forward in your life as you get older. I think personally, you're ready to develop at a good rate when you're now mid-30s onwards. I think
definitely.
That would be my advice to people.
100%. You've just got to have that
just
experience.
Life lessons and that, haven't you? Like, and I think more.
You've got to make mistakes as well.
Yeah.
But it's better to me. I know it's going to sound bad, right? But it's better to make a mistake on somebody else's job rather than you solely being responsible.
Yeah. Well, you know
what I mean. But because don't get us wrong, everyone makes mistakes, right?
Well, you have to.
There's not a plumber out there that can come and say to me, he's never had a leak, he's never done this, he's never fitted something incorrectly. They're lying, because if they do.
Yeah, but that's when you know how to do something right, don't you?
Yes.
There's a saying that goes, fail fast. Right?
Yeah.
And obviously, it's a good saying, and it's like, you have to make the mistakes to find the right answers, don't you?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. The more you can make, like, the more you're going to learn, aren't you? Like, if you made, thousands of mistakes over your time, which you would have, that's how you're so good at what you do now, because of all the things that you've learned.
Definitely.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be a learning curve, would it?
There's been loads of mistakes made, and then you learn from their mistakes, and you get better, and you get better, and you get better. Yeah. And it's like you say, there's no heating engineer or plumber out there that hasn't been through all that and made their mistakes.
Absolutely not.
So that would be ultimately my advice to anybody coming out at the time, would be gain that experience with somebody else. But obviously, stick in and muck in and do your best.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But if you're coming out your apprenticeship at 19-year-old or 20-year-old, you're gonna be fresh still.
Yeah, of course you are.
You
learn every day.
The problem is that the very rare, the actual apprenticeships, like the proper time-served apprenticeships now, are very rare, because people are reluctant to get into the rigmarole of the colleges and the paperwork and all that side of things. And
well, mate, that's another story, because I'll tell you what it is, we can talk about on the next episode. We can talk about apprentices, and we can talk about the youth of today and what our opinions are, because that'll be an interesting one. Right, let's cover cost of living dead quick. Let's sum it up. So everyone knows everything's expensive. We're all feeling it. I don't think you talk between your friends, your family, and you can see the price of how much I'm spending on shopping these days.
Everybody you speak to, though, isn't it?
Well, everyone, because it is. But
and you downgrade, don't you? It was like, used to be like Morrison's. Smash Morrison's. Where M&S,
on a good week,
M&S
when you
at the
did
top
well.
of it. I used to get vouchers for them. So
Christmas time,
and then you downgrade, and you're going down, and then it's like,
well, I'm at Aldi now. So
I'm at Aldi.
Is there further down?
I think it's little, like slightly.
We'll have to
sorry, everyone who shops at little, but no, it is. Everyone's feeling the pinch of that. Everyone, it is.
Well,
it is.
I was in on Thursday, Friday. No, it was Friday. 170 quid in Aldi, and I got, don't get us wrong, there was 4 bags, but mate, you put it in your cupboards and you think there's only less than a week's worth of shopping there.
Well, it is a week, isn't it? It is a week. It's £1,000 a month to run a household, especially the size of mine, as you know.
Just for food, man.
Do you know what I mean? No, that's what I mean. Just food. No, we're talking about food here.
No, that's what I spent on me.
Happy minute.
I know.
But no, that is it is, and it is fortunes, and you.
Right.
But obviously, that's just the way everybody is. It'll never come down, no. It's only going to go up.
But mate, the thing is, like, it's only going to go so far before people pop, man. But this is the thing, right? This is where this is what I want to make clear as well, right? The stresses of this on people, right? In general, like you say, shopping,
Yeah.
home bills,
Yeah.
right, comes because of all the rising costs, right?
Yeah.
The person that gets punished, right, is the employer, because the staff think they're not getting paid enough because they can't afford to live, because they're not getting paid enough by the employer.
Yeah.
This isn't the employer, mate. The government's bumping prices of everything up, and a part of it, all these energy companies, they're all part of the government, right? Then you've got the government bumping minimum wage up because he's pretending to help the employee, right? So he doesn't consult any employment companies. There's no bosses or businesses get spoke to about this. So the boss gets a load of stress on him. He then has to cut back on costs. So then he looks like a CUNT again. It's a vicious circle. But what I find it's doing is it's turning the people against the employer, because they think he's the man, he's the greedy man.
Yeah. Oh well, of course.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
there needs to be categories, though. I mean, just going back to the apprenticeship side of things, right? If I take an apprentice on who's 16-year-old, fresh out of school,
Mm-hmm.
right? By the time you add everything up, it's 1,200 quid a month, right? And kicking on maybe a little bit more.
because you got PY, but again, mate, we used to get £40 a week.
I know.
£40 a week, mate.
I know.
And you were working Monday to Friday till 6 p.m. Do you know what I mean? There was nearly like early finish on a Friday crack. That's what's mad, mate. Now you're paying minimum wage, mate, goes up to what, £12.50 or £12.70 or something in April.
Yeah.
Then national insurance goes up as well. I know in April there's going to be a lot of people going there's a lot of business owners going to be flipping their employees to self-employment.
Yes.
Because why should he pay the rising cost of national insurance, the rising cost in minimum wage,
or make them subcontract,
and then pay their own tax? It's the only way. It's the only way. But mate, the thing is, there's a discrepancy with that as well, because now even subbing, right, over certain amount of hours, they're making the employer liable for that subcontractor because of the amount of hours they're given.
Yes.
So again, they're just trying to tie the business owner up. Basically, mate, instead of chasing loads of different people in one business for tax, they're going for the main man, and that's the business owner. Which, mate, is putting the businessman in a situation to go, look, well, I'll tell you what, let's just I'll get rid of 5 people, I'll get some robots in, you know, or systems, because you can now. I mean, mate, I'm in the middle of doing it now. I'm putting a door system in here to cut back on costs of morning opening hours. You know?
See, but that's where everybody's gone with that. That's where all the other gyms have gone with that, and that's why that is the sole reason why you go to all the big franchises, right? And they've got the door entry systems.
It's all in place.
Cutbacks. It's all cutbacks, and that's exactly what will happen. They're not really helping themselves whatsoever with employment and for the future.
They're not, mate, because there's going to be a lot less. There's going to be more unemployed people now than ever. Once April hits, especially, mate. I'm telling you now, I can feel it. Because you simply can't do it, mate. Well, why should... Again, I said this on another podcast. Minimum wage, right, is a legal requirement, right? But me and you can make less.
Yeah.
Me and you are allowed to go, and it's legal for us to go and make nothing some weeks.
Yes.
So in that case, if it's legal, then we should be bill the government and say, listen, I've been at work all week, I haven't made any money.
Yeah.
So like,
you need
to pay us. But yet we still have to pay the VAT, regardless of regardless of profits that are made.
Yeah.
Your VAT stays in place. Your tax, obviously,
because you're a tax man for the government. You are just an inbuilt tax office right now, and that all you're doing is you're just collecting. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That's all we are.
And it's in here, and then it's going. There you go, Mr. Taxman. There you go, my VAT man.
You know, it's putting far too much strain on people. Mate. Like I say, every quarter you're getting that VAT bill.
Yeah.
You go, and mate, like I said, it doesn't make any difference. Like turnover rate means nothing.
I know.
No doubt, mate. You look at your turnover rate, and then you go, where has that money gone?
To be fair, I go and do a job, and the materials, because I'm on with a big job down there, down south, and the plant room alone is going to cost 70 grand, and that is pure materials and cost, right? But obviously I need to buy them materials and incur that cost and have that that turnover. So yeah, the turnover is going to look fantastic. But you think I'm going to make 70 grand fitting that plant room?
That's what I mean. That's the thing, mate.
You know what I mean?
And the percentage of that money, right? Let's say 10,000 at a push is going to be yours, right? 10 grand of 70, right? Then you've got VAT. Then you've got tax. And what are other bills that you'll get ripped off? Because there'll be some.
Yeah.
It knocks it down, and you get to the point where that's why. But then you're getting VAT on 70,000 that you've had to have in your bank, but yet it's been released. Like, it doesn't make, because by the time
never makes sense. It never makes sense.
But this is where it's all going spanning, mate. So it's like something's got to give, mate, because people just aren't going to do it.
It's just a roundabout system for the government to keep tabs on everyone, and just for you to do all the donkey work. That's all it is.
Of course it is. But again, it's nuts, mate, because it does. We all just get on with it because you have to, because we've got mouths to feed at home, and that's they know that, mate. They know that, you know. And this is where, but it's unfair, because once upon a time, mate, right, and you'll remember it. One member of a household could go to work full time. The man normally, right? He would go to work, and there'd be 2 cars on the drive, fridge full of food, bit of money left for the weekend, and they had a nice life. Now, mate, you on your own, you couldn't do it.
No.
One wage would not cover your bills.
Aye.
Would it? When you think about it, it wouldn't, mate.
No,
it's regardless of how you live, mate. Even the basics of living now. You're looking at a house. Let's say 2-bed terraced house, wherever, 600-700 quid, easy. Right. Then you've got your council tax. You've got your home insurance.
I don't know how people do it on a basic wage.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but they can't. But this is why they don't. So everyone's better just not working, do your 16 hours and get your PIP stuff, you know what I mean?
I honestly don't know. Sometimes I think to myself all the time, like, how do people... I mean, I know a lad who used to work for a company I used to work for, and he still works for that company now, right? And, I mean, don't get us wrong here, there's like... I'm not trying to demoralise him in any way, but he'll come out with, like, a very small portion of money that I would be used to bringing in, and I'm like, how do you do it? Oh, well, we make ends meet, and it's like, it's just... And
we shouldn't just be making ends meet. Nah. Well, like, in this life, right, like, the word, it's been used in a previous podcast, right, survival, and I'm like, survival? You go to work, what, to survive? No, that's not why you got to work. Not when you don't have to go to work and you can still survive. Do you know what I'm saying?
It is this day and age, though. It is. It when you look at it that way, it is like survival. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but mate, you got to work. That's my point. It's an option to go to work, right? So you've got 2 options. You go to work and still survive. Maybe survive a little bit neater. Or you don't go to work, but you still survive because they'll pay for you to survive. Yeah. Mate, no, man. That should never be an option. It should never be that way. Do you know what I'm saying?
But it is, and there'll be no change in that.
Well, it won't, because people don't stand up anymore, mate. This is why, you know, people's got to be... People sit, do you know why? People sit, and as long as they're all right, they don't speak out because they think, well, I'm fine. And this is where I think it's become a selfish... It's become a very... our culture now is just like everybody's for themselves, and I get it when you go into something again, survival mode, because you've got to look after yourself. But no one sticks together anymore. No one's heard anymore. No one's, you've got big people going to jail for freedom of speech, and it's like because they've wanted to speak out, and it's like no, everyone should stick together.
I always thought, right, all of the people in the different sectors of trade, right? So because at the minute, right, it's a monopoly. So you've got all these, the builders, you've got like Persimmons, Bellways and all that, right? They will give rates on a new build property. They will give rate, and they will say, this is the rate. That's
as in what do you mean?
Paying the brickies, paying this,
right? The amount they've got available for
to do that,
right, okay.
Yeah. And basically, you wouldn't have a say on that matter, right? You go in there as a plumber or a brickie or whatever.
What the price is already set.
That's set.
There's nothing more for you to make.
They'll say that's your price. That's what you get per brick or whatever, or that's what you get for that side of things. And it's one of them. I always thought, why don't all the tradesmen come together, or all the small business owners, and say, right, let's have like a bit of a meeting and say, right, this is what we're going to charge people. Do you know what I'm saying? This is what we are going to charge for a call out.
Yes.
And then there's nobody coming in and going, well, I tell you what, I'll charge 40 quid.
Aye. You just cutting each other's throat.
You are.
I said exactly the same, mate, right? I said, this is about 5 years ago. I says, do you know what? I says to me pal, I says, do you know what would be easy in business, right? if every business owner, say every gym owner, for me, every gym owner sat somewhere, right, we'll set up, we're going to meet somewhere, we'll have a coffee, right, sit down, January coming up, let's set our prices now, right, set them now, what we feel like we're worth, because gym memberships are far too cheap. I still think they're far too cheap. When the service you get from a gym compared to a mobile phone or anything, made coffees a week, you'll spend way more money on coffee than you will a gym membership. It is your cheapest outgoing per month if you're a gym goer, right? I said, everyone sits together, right? You say, like, look, let's set the line. Everybody sets the line, right? You go in there at that, like what you're saying with the plumbing, right? Nobody undercuts each other. That's the rule. There used to be a gentleman's agreement like that years ago. That's the rule, and then we'll go. And everybody does all right. Everybody soaks up who they should soak up. People go there conveniently or whatever they go for, but everyone gets paid.
Yeah.
And business will be so much easier. But we've got that many cutthroats, that many big companies coming right through from our own government that have got like shares and all this type of stuff. Let's open things up. Let's charge £10 a month, mate. £10 a month. You tell me that them gyms are making money? There's no way, man. No way. No way on earth.
Because the thing is with that, they look at quantity as well, though, don't they? And it's like it's exactly the same as the building world as well. So these people who've got the like Bellways and Persimmons and stuff like that, what they'll do is they'll just have a ridiculous amount of trades come through there, like the turnover. We did some work on a new build, and the turnover of lads that had been on that site was just crazy. Yep. But they don't care, do you know what I mean? No, but obviously they've come in and it is the rate.
Yep.
But why don't everybody just get together and say, right, well, no, this is what we need to charge, and that's what the rates need to be. Yep. But say they've got people, do you know what I mean?
The thing is, mate, they have, and what they do is like battleships, innit? They'll hold on, it's the same as a gym game, they'll hold on at that, lose a little bit in certain areas, but in that certain area, other businesses will fold under them for any business. So like in your business, 6 or 7 self-employed plumbers will give in, they'll go and work for them, and then they win, then they bump, so it's easy. But the thing is, this is why I'm saying, right, people have to support small businesses, because when they're all gone, right, they're going to be going, I wish if I had a chance to change what's happening now, I would, because like you say, getting you out, right, you'll turn up, you'll do your bit, mate, you care, because it's your name, you'll go that extra mile, no doubt, mate, right? Whereas, like I say, let's pick out British Gas or whatever. Them engineers, not saying the bad engineers at all, mate, right, but they haven't got as much care for that house as what they would have if, say, they were going in under their own name, right? There's no way, it just doesn't exist. You're working for another company, you can do your bit, then you go home. That's the attitude they've got. So when everyone's forced to go with these big organisations, these big commercial, in my case, commercial gyms, there's no name. They don't. You never know who owns that gym. Yeah. You don't speak to you hardly speak to anybody in there. You go in, headphones in, boom, you go. There's no character. There's no one to speak to. It's very antisocial. And the same in your trade, mate. If you all go and you start working for someone, you lose a lot more care, mate. Because rightfully so, you're getting paid less. There's more, there's more stress on you. It's like, you're going to give less cares, mate.
They're just driving it all down. Do you know that the level of care in the new builds is just absolutely
this is where, mate, people need to support local businesses. So if you're going to be paying, we did it the other week, we all went down to you with us, we went down to that local cafe at Hartley, and we were going to go to Costa, we're going to go to Starbucks. We're going to typically go to Starbucks, because that's what you do, you remember the name, it's all advertised well. We're going to nip up there, we're going to have some coffees, get some bits of stuff. And we'll go down there, actually we'll start supporting, the local businesses. Mate, we would have spent less down there anyway and got way more. The service, the atmosphere, the venue, knocks spots off Starbucks.
Doesn't it just?
But until you do it, mate, you go, oh, it is like...
I didn't even know it was there.
Well, we didn't, that's my point. That's my point, because...
Proper little hidden gem.
But we're becoming, as a society, brainwashed and like... fired into triggering us into doing these things to these big organisations because of the adverts we're seeing and the shit we're seeing on telly and adverts and hearing it, and it's all over. So it's brainwashed us into just tricking us into, it's all a marketing strategy, mate. I read books on it. It's a marketing strategy that always wins.
It's easy, convenient, and it's just then you just start getting
and
brainwashed.
It's no good for you. But it's all in all, mate, it's no good. Convenient for a temporary period of time. But long haul, mate, it's not good for you, mate. Because really we're all getting getting pulled against each other. And this is what the point of these podcasts is, to make people remember, look, these small businesses will be a thing of the past very, very quick, and there'll be a new world very, very quick if we don't start supporting.
You've got to look at like butcher shops, look at greengrocers, veggies.
Fell off the face of the earth just like that.
Look at like Dip in Front Street used to be booming, right? Used to have all sorts on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's they're literally, once they're gone, they're gone.
Oh, well, that's it.
Do you know what I mean?
But then people adapt or whatever. But
obviously the supermarkets killed the butchers, killed the greengrocers. It's just, but they'll never come back.
Well, they won't. But mate, again, this is what I'm saying about this convenient thing, right? We use our local shop. You know, we'll use the local Flint Hill shop. You go in there for a bottle of milk, whatever. You know, you chewing gum, bits of crisp, whatever. But all that support, mate, is keeping them going, right? Because once they go, it'll be like, oh man, I've got to drive to Tesco now.
Aye, you've got to get another 2 miles.
We start complaining that we've got to now drive another 4 mile, when we could have just, in the beginning, started supporting, kept it open.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But what we'll do, we'll wrap this one up now. There's some good talk there on small business stuff, and we'll come back with another episode, and let's talk a bit about dad life. You know, let's talk about that. We'll talk about a bit of normal life stuff.
Yeah.
We'll touch on some other business talk in more depth.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. So thanks for coming on, and we'll catch you on episode 2.